I mean no malicious intent, but is it possible that many people who are convinced being gay is a choice are bisexual and don't realize it? Or they're in the closet about it maybe. What's making me wonder, and IDK if this is super stupid it might be lol I am pretty much toast RN, but if you're straight, think about it. You didn't ever choose that, right? I didn't choose to like girls, I just did, and one day I was like well what my brothers told me is right. I don't think they have cooties anymore. And I assume with gay folks it's like that, only with the same gender they just realize that's what they find attractive. But if I was bi but didn't want to admit it or didn't even realize that was a thing, I could see myself choosing to be with women even if I would just as well or even more like to be with a man if I also found women attractive, because that's just the safer option. I mean especially if you're from a culture that looks down on being gay or LGBTQ in any way. Does this make sense? Like maybe these people just need to wake up and realize it was a choice for them, because they are at that spot on the spectrum where it can literally be a choice. Edit. I don't want to clog everything up by trying to respond to everyone, but I am really amazed at all the interaction this thing has gotten lol. Thank you everybody for adding to the discussion and for not attacking me for questioning stuff. A refreshingly hot take. They talk about having to resist temptation, never figuring it out that for people who aren't gay or bi there is no temptation. It would be laughable if it wasn't sad and or so damaging. I often think this is the case. Spoke to a girl who said she chose to be straight after she decided to have her first crush on a guy. The only other time I've seen people saying they had to choose crushes is when they were closeted. It seems like they think it's a choice for everyone because they're actively choosing not to act on their own feelings. Though I'm sure some people do just think being gay is a choice regardless of their own orientation. That's exactly my conclusion. People often assume that things are the same for others as for themselves. I started noticing this as a kid. Other people thought math was as difficult for me as it was for them, so when I found it easy, they assumed I was faking it to show off. On the other hand, completing homework assignments was, for most people, just a matter of buckling down and doing it. But for my ADHD and autistic brain, it wasn't. So people assumed I must just be lazy. And that's just my experience. Look around, and you'll see plenty of examples. Rich people saying that hard work can make you rich just because that's what happened for them. Religious people trying to convert others by pointing to things they interpret as a definitive miracle. Families falling out over diverging priorities. Etc. You'll catch yourself doing it, too. Sitting in your car, judging other drivers for being too impatient, or too careful. That's a really common one. If you're thoughtful and kind about it, you might dismiss the thought. Which is good. But the thought will still have been there. And unless you're constantly vigilant about your first thoughts, it might get through next time. I think this is possible, yes. There are so many factors at play with people's sexuality, and there is further, or maybe more fundamentally, what they are internally versus the behavior they exhibit. I never thought of it that way, but it makes a lot of sense. I can see that I kinda did the same thing when I was younger. I thought being gay was a choice because I chose not to be gay. I didn't admit I was bi until I was in my late 20s.